Dans le vieux Caire en Égypte, Ahmed Osman brade une épaisse étoffe noire de versets coraniques avec des fils d'or. Ce métier, il a arrêté de césariat par an. Il
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're now delighted to be joined over the telephone by His Excellency Ambassador Ahmed Haggag, former Secretary General of the Organization of African Unity. It's a very good afternoon to you, Your Excellency, and a very happy Eid to you and all your loved ones.
First of all, I was not the Secretary General of the OU. I was the Assistant Secretary General of the OU.
Apologies, Your Excellency, for this error.
In introducing me.
Apologies,
Yes,
Your Excellency.
please, go ahead.
Right. Thank you very much for joining us, Ambassador Ahmed. And let me start, of course, as someone that has served all over the African...
I have a hearing problem. Could you raise the loudspeaker, please, a little bit?
Sorry, Your Excellency, is the... Right. All right, Your Excellency. Can you hear me like this? Is this clearer?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Right. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for your time. Let me start by asking you, as someone who has served all over the African continent in many different African countries, what are some of the similarities you see between the celebrations in Egypt of Eid al-Adha and other African Muslim countries as well?
If I understood your question well, what was the celebrations among African countries of Eid al-Adha or Eid al-Fitr, right?
Yes, absolutely, sir.
Yes. Many, I was in Addis Ababa, the headquarters of the OU, for 12 years. This allowed me to mix with a lot of African ambassadors and also communities of African countries. And also I did have travel. I used to travel to a lot of African countries where there are a majority of Muslims in those countries. The celebrations is similar from one country to the other. They gather early in the morning at the mosque. They say the great mosque. There are smaller mosques in regional communities, but in capital there are always a major Islamic mosque where the community and the leaders of the community do gather in the morning in order to hear to join the takbir, and also to listen to the lecture by an imam. Most of those countries, fortunately, used to have a representative of Al-Awqaf al-Masriya, or also the Al-Azhar University, which made it very easy to transmit the message of Islam.
Yes.
We used to reprint the dua, because the dua in many African countries are still different from one country to other. So we have to print it in Arabic and then Latin and distribute it to the attendants at the mosque in order to recite it correctly.
Indeed. Let me ask you, Your Excellency, how do you see events like Eid and Eid al-Adha influencing cultural ties between Egypt and other African countries?
I'm sorry, again, can you repeat it again,
yes,
please?
I was asking you about how events like Eid or Eid al-Adha influence cultural ties between Arab nations as well as Egypt and other African countries.
Most of the communities in many African countries are similar in their attitudes of celebration. They also, after the Eid al-Adha prayers, they gather at homes. First of all, the small families, in order to get the congratulations and felicitations from the members of the smaller family. Then they gather at the leader of the community, in order to bring a Quran reciter, in order to recite the Quran for some time. and also they exchange gifts, and even sometimes the leader of the community distributes some money to the members of the community. So it is a family gathering which is celebrated in most African countries.
Absolutely. Your Excellency, how do you see the importance of, Arab-African ties and relations when it comes to such celebrations? How do you see the cultural and religious dimension of ties between Egypt and other African countries celebrating Eid al-Adha?
As I mentioned, the celebration is similar in many African countries. If
Yes.
I can make an advice, here in Cairo and in other governorates, we have almost 10,000 African students, Muslim students studying at Al-Azhar University. I do propose that each Egyptian family try to host one student, either female or male, and because they miss their family a lot, and this is a good opportunity to mix with Egyptian families and also with young and boys and young girls of the family, in order not to feel he is strange in his community. I hope that many Egyptian families will take this initiative.
Indeed.
In inshallah next Eid. They contact Al-Azhar University, and the Azhar University will choose the families which will host those students in the Egyptian homes.
Absolutely, Your Excellency. Now also Eid al-Adha, or the feast, is a time to remember, the less fortunate or the needy, to distribute food as well as money and meat, etc. Do such traditions carry to other African Muslim countries?
I'm sorry, again, can you repeat
Sorry,
it
yes,
slowly,
I was
please?
asking you, do other African countries also partake in the culture of distributing food, money as well to people less fortunate or to the needy during Eid?
Yeah, in different African countries, there is different cultures, although they are similar in some major themes, but the African context now is mixed with the Islamic context. So there are certain tribes in Ethiopia, in Kenya, which are the majority are Muslims, and they have all their traditions, which is a little bit different from the overall community of people in their countries. So, but among Muslims, I think they have joint sentiments of attachment to each other, and also in giving a lot of gifts to the young Muslims, and also the young people go and kiss the hands of their grandmothers or grandfathers, and this is the celebration which is most common in African countries culturally, but also the Cairo radio and other Islamic radios try to connect African Muslim communities with each other, with transmitting the rituals from Al-Azhar or major mosques.
Indeed. Now, Your Excellency, Mr. Ambassador, how do you see the global as well as regional challenges impacting on countries who are celebrating Eid al-Adha? Of course, the current situation in the Gaza Strip and Gaza, as well as the challenges in Sudan, for example, all having, dampening effects on the celebrations of Eid al-Adha.
I think our hearts with our brothers and sisters in Gaza Strip, which will be missing the celebrations and even the prayers, Muslim prayers of Eid al-Adha, because the Israeli occupying forces destroyed a major mosque in the Strip, which will deprive the people from a place to gather together. But nevertheless, I think a smaller community and smaller groups of people will take advantage of being together in order to organize a ceremony and prayers and recitation of Quran in this occasion. So we have to send our best wishes to our people in Gaza Strip, and we wish them all the best. And this nightmare will disappear in the near future, inshallah.
Indeed. God willing. How about Sudan, Your Excellency? I was asking about the challenges and escalation as well being witnessed in Sudan. Just our neighbors as well struggling during Eid al-Adha and the celebrations and the rituals of the Saeed.
I'm sorry, again, I cannot follow you completely. Can you speak slowly?
Sorry,
and,
Your Excellency.
A short question, please.
Yes, Your Excellency. I was asking about the challenges and escalation we are witnessing in Sudan, as the situation there is also quite challenging. How do you see the dampening of, on the Eid al-Adha celebrations with regards to the situation in the country?
You are speaking about celebration in Sudan?
Yes, Your Excellency. The current challenges and escalation in Sudan.
In Sudan, yes. Yes, Sudan is our sympathy with them, because unfortunately they are in a civil war now, which will is devastating slowly the whole country. The Sudanese are Muslims by nature and faith, and they are very devoted to the Islamic religion. But unfortunately, there are some bandits who claim to be Muslims but are roaming around the country, killing people and destroying buildings and so on. So we hope that they will be completely free from this nightmare in the near future, and the Sudanese people will join their other Muslims in the celebration, and even amongst the Sudanese community itself. This nightmare is going for a long time and resulted in a lot of devastation in the country, unfortunately.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Your Excellency, Ambassador Ahmed Haggag. Thank you so much, sir, for your time and your insight and for joining us on today's edition of Africa Today. That wraps up our episode for the day. Stay tuned for more coming your way on Now TV International.